With the death of Julian the Apostate during his campaign in Persia, Jovian would succeed him but would never make it back to Rome or Constantinople, leading to Valentinian I's ascension as emperor and beginning the Valentinian Dynasty. If you want to continue seeing more from me, like and subscribe and comment down below. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would appreciate it if you subscribed. Now on to the video. Number 7. Procopius. Procopius would capture Constantinople, expanding to Thrace and Bithynia. He attempted to use his background to gain legitimacy, notably his ties to the Constantine dynasty. But his usurpation would be short, as just over 7 months he would eventually be decisively defeated in the battles of Thyatira and Nicolia. Being deserted by his army, he went on the run until being captured and executed. Number 6. Valentinian II. There's not much to say about Valentinian II, as he was mostly a child emperor. He shared power with his older half-brother Gratian, who would rule most of the West, leading to Valentinian II to just rule over Italia, Illyricum, and North Africa. Due to his young age, he also relied on regents during his childhood. What he did do as emperor was just enforce Christian policies with his favored Christian sect and denied restoring the altar of victory. Ultimately, he would flee Italia when Magnus Maximus invaded, but he would be put back in power by Theodosius the Great. He would govern the most western regions of the empire like Gaul, Hispania, and Britannia, governing from Gaul, being heavily controlled by his Frankish general Arbogast. His death is disputed, with some saying he took his own life or was assassinated by Arbogast in a power struggle. Overall, he couldn't do much as he was controlled by those around him, never having the chance to exert his power or authority. Number 5. Eugenius. Eugenius would be proclaimed emperor shortly after the death of Valentinian II. He took the whole West and attempted to be recognized by Theodosius the Great, but he was denied and instead attacked. During his usurpation of 2 years, he would spend his time supporting a pagan revival, like construction of pagan temples and restoring the altar of victory in the Senate House, which was a controversial issue as at the time the empire was becoming more Christian, and the altar of victory symbolized the state's support of the traditional pagan religion. Theodosius' rejection would lead to a war and his defeat at the Battle of Frigidus, eventually being executed. Number 4. Magnus Maximus. Maximus would be declared emperor in Britannia and invade Gaul, overthrowing Gratian. After a short conflict and some negotiation, he would be recognized by Theodosius the Great. As emperor, he mainly wanted to establish a dynasty, appointing his son as Caesar. He would also heavily weaken Britannia by taking much of its garrison to defend his mainland territories, contributing to the gradual collapse of Britannia. Maximus would break the agreement with Theodosius and invade Italia to depose Valentinian II. This would culminate in his defeat in the Battle of Poetovio and later his execution. Number 3. Valens. Valens would be co-emperor alongside his brother Valentinian the Great, ruling over the East. He would defeat Procopius and campaign against the Goths as well as the Sassanids. He heavily promoted Arian Christianity and would be in conflict with other sects of Christianity. His downfall would come after letting in displaced Goths fleeing from the Huns into the Roman Empire. Many officials would mistreat them, leading to a rebellion, turning potential allies into enemies. Valens would rush into battle and without waiting for Western reinforcements engaged with the Goths, ultimately being obliterated and killed at the Battle of Adrianople. The defeat was so bad that the Goths would be allowed to live within the Roman Empire. draining its resources as well as relying on barbarian recruits with the loss of veteran soldiers and leaders. Number 2. Gratian. Gratian would be emperor alongside Valens and Valentinian II. He ruled the west and then the east after the death of Valens. As emperor, he heavily enforced Christian policies by removing the altar of victory. He refused to wear the traditional pagan robes of the Pontifex Maximus, becoming the last emperor with the title of Pontifex Maximus. Alongside with Theodosius the Great, he was signed the Edict of Thessalonica, making Christianity as the empire's official religion. Militarily, he fought off the Alemanni, scoring victory at the Battle of Colmar, however began relying more on Germanic soldiers. And one of his most important decisions was appointing Theodosius as emperor of the East after the death of Valens. Unfortunately, he would be overthrown by Magnus Maximus and would be assassinated. And at number 1, Valentinian the Great. Valentinian would be proclaimed emperor after the death of Jovian. He split the empire between himself, ruling the west, and his brother Valens in the east, appointing his son Gratian as Caesar, establishing the Valentinian dynasty. He would build fortifications along the Danube and Rhine rivers. He won battles against the Alemanni, notably at the Battle of Solicinium. He would also prove to be tolerant of other religions, like the pagans, even though he himself was a Christian. His ties with Theodosius the Elder, the father of Theodosius the Great, would later help Theodosius the Great become emperor. Overall, Valentinian the Great is the best emperor out of the dynasty. He defended the empire and established the Valentinian dynasty. The only downside was that he could have potentially lived longer and ruled for a much longer time if it wasn't for his temperament. And that's the Valentinian dynasty ranked from worst to best. Here's the list. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing more from me. And comment down below on what you think about this list. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.